everybody, and welcome to snowy Lake Cochrane Recreation Area. I am Cassie Olson, Program Coordinator for Game Fish and Parks out of Pelican Lake, Sandy Shores, and Lake Cochrane Recreation Areas, as well as Hartford Beach State Park. I called in some reinforcement today.
Hello everybody, Heath Stone, Park Manager at Lake Cochrane Recreation Area.
Don't be alarmed, we are standing 6 feet apart from each other, or the width of a turkey vulture's wingspan. We are practicing social distancing. Today we are going to take you on a virtual field trip around the park and the trail to uncover some of our types of habitats we have here in the Northeast. From the depths of the oceans all the way to the tip tops of the mountains, there are so many different kinds of habitats for different kinds of animals. Do you know what a habitat is? A habitat is a place that provides the plant or animal with suitable food, water, shelter, and space. Almost every place on Earth, from the hottest deserts to the coldest icebergs, is a habitat for some kind of animal or plant. Can you think of some different types of habitats? Here in South Dakota, we have a lot of prairie. At one time, most of the state was actually covered in tall grass, mixed grass, or short grass prairies. My favorite habitat to explore is prairies, especially as things begin to come along alive after a long winter. Soon we'll start to see some of those flowers begin to pop up as well, so I encourage you to get out and explore some. Heath, what's your favorite kind of habitat to explore?
My favorite kind of habitat is prairie. I like the native grasses and the flowers. My favorite flower is the prairie smoke, which we should be seeing emerge here in May.
This is Lake Oliver. Lake Oliver is right across the road from Lake Cochrane Recreation Area. It's a spring-fed lake, and it's part of the freshwater habitat. Rivers, creeks, lakes, ponds, and streams, and some other freshwater habitats. So our wetlands, like swamps, which we'll talk to you about in a little bit. Swamps have woody plants and trees, and marshes, which have no trees but a lot of grasses and reeds. Freshwater accounts for only 3% of the world's water. The rest is saltwater. But despite that tiny amount, freshwater habitats are homes for more than 100,000 species of plants and animals. Can you help me think of some? Obviously fish live here, but they're not alone. Snails, worms, turtles, frogs, beavers, otters, snakes, and many other types of insects live here too. What about plants? We'll see algae, cattails, willow trees, as well in these freshwater habitats. They are so important because they help keep our water clean by using their root systems to help filter pollution and excess nutrients from that water. Here in Northeast South Dakota, we have our fair share of freshwater habitat. In addition to the lake, we also have some wetlands in the park. Within wetlands, we can see many of the critters that we listed above, as well as waterfowl. Every species of duck, goose, and swan in North America depend on a wetland habitat through their life cycle. They use it for drinking water, resting, feeding, shelter, and social interactions. Heath has another thing to tell you about wetlands over here. Take it away.
Hey everybody, one of my favorite little critters I like talking about is the muskrat. As you can see over here, we have a muskrat house out in the marsh. The muskrats play a vital role in the creations of wetlands. What they'll do is, when there's a marsh that has a lot of cattails packed into it, the muskrat will go in and cut down all the cattails out in an area, open it up for other species to utilize it, like waterfowl, songbirds. What they do with these cattails is they pile them up and they make a hut. And the hut is where they live their entire winter, season. Everyone, welcome back. We are here over at Lake Oliver, Lakeside Use Area, and behind me we have part of our prairie grasslands here at the park. In a prairie setting, it's not just all grasses. You have grasses and forbs, and there's a lot of variety in the grasslands. So different types of grasses you have are big blue stem, little blue stem, blue grama, side-oats grama, prairie cordgrass, Indian grass, a whole variety of different species. And you got a warm season grass and a cool season grass, where cool season grasses, they pop up early in the spring when the soil temp is cooler, and as the summer progresses, you have your warm season grasses. When the soil temp gets warmer, they start to pop. And then also, in addition to grasses, you have forbs, which are flowers. You have your purple coneflower, prairie smoke, pasqueflower, which is our state flower, and a variety of different sunflowers. Also in a prairie setting, you have these black mounds. Can you guys tell me what these black mounds are? Pocket gophers. These little critters, they go underneath in the soil and they just they live their whole life underground, and they dig big tunnel systems. And in order to get rid of that dirt, they got to push it up. They got to put it somewhere, so they create these mounds. Gophers are part of the prairie ecosystem. They create holes, and those holes allow air to filtrate into the soil substrate and allow oxygen to flow throughout, creating a diverse and oxygen-rich soil.
Keith mentioned some of the flowers that grow on the prairie, and this, what's left of it, is a part of a goldenrod. If you see this little bump right here, that's called a gull. And what that gull is fly larvae that eats the plant from the inside to the outside. There's an old wives' tale that says that the worm on the inside of this is the ticket to all ice fishing. Can you think of some other animals that live in a prairie habitat? We learned on Monday that coyotes call the prairie home, as well as fox, badgers, pocket gophers, and ground squirrels. Historically, we have also had bison graze on the prairies around here. Bison are a keynote species, which means that they helped create habitat for many different species, including grassland birds like the bobolink, which is one of my favorites. When we're done with this, make sure to Google that because they have a very unique call. Bison helped create habitat for many plant species as well, meaning that they created more habitat for some of the critters that we just mentioned. As bison forage, they aerate the soil with their hooves, which aids in plant growth and disperses native seeds, helping maintain a healthy and balanced ecosystem. Much of the land that GFP manages is kept healthy by letting cattle graze on it and do the exact same thing that bison did. If we don't manage the habitat, it can turn into smooth brome, or volunteer trees like green ash or cedar will pop up and start growing.
Now we're moving along the trail from our prairie down into the woodland habitat. In the woodland habitat, there are a variety of trees. We have cottonwood, green ash, bur oak. As you can see here, there's some dogwood, which is a shrub. There's two different types of trees that we mainly will see on the South Dakota landscape. We have the coniferous trees and we have deciduous trees. Conifers, they have thin spine-like leaves on them that stay green all year. They stay on all winter and they don't fall off. The different types of conifer trees we have are the Black Hill spruce and eastern red cedar. Those are the two main common trees we have. Also the ponderosa pine. Some of the deciduous trees that we have are cottonwoods, bur oak, maple, linden, and as a deciduous tree has a flat leaf that falls off in the fall and regrows every spring. Can you guys name some critters that live in some woodland habitat? Well, let's take a shot. We have white-tailed deer, we got squirrels, rabbits, raccoons, mice, and the one Cassie talked about yesterday, owls. We also have many bird species that love woodland habitat and make their nests in trees. The bald eagle, we've seen a lot of new nests in the area in mature cottonwood trees. Red-tailed hawks and the great horned owl, they all rely on woodland habitat.
We are standing under a cottonwood tree, and I have a cool little trick to teach you about cottonwood trees. If you find a little twig on the ground, it has to be dead and dry. If you snap it right on one of the little bumps, there's a star in the middle. Let me see if I can get you. I'll add a picture of the star in the middle when we're done here. There's so many myths and legends that go along with the star in the middle of the cottonwood tree, so I really encourage you to search some of them up because it's very interesting and pretty cool. If you look really closely, this is the star in the cottonwood tree. You find a dry and dead one, and you will break it right on those little bumps, right on the tip of my finger there.
Hey everyone, we just got done talking about our woody habitat, and I wanted to dive in a little more detail about some of the trees I listed off. Right here we have a maple tree here at the park, and this is what one of the leaves look like. If you guys can think of what the Canadian flag has on it, it's the maple leaf. And one good thing that the maple leaf or the maple trees will provide us with is maple syrup. So what you do to get the sap out of the tree is you usually drill a hole somewhere around the base of the tree, about 2 inches in, and you put a spindle and you tap it, and then it starts to drip out sap. And when you collect all that sap, you boil it off and you'll get maple syrup. Another tree we talked about was the green ash, and here's a mature tree down at the park. As you can see, we got a nice 50-foot mature tree here. The one downfall to the green ash right now is we have the emerald ash borer that has made its way into South Dakota and is currently down in the Sioux Falls area. So what we're doing here at the park is we're slowly thinning out the green ash tree. That way we're trying to slow the spread, so whenever the emerald ash borer does get here at the park, we'll have to eliminate all of our green ash trees. That way we can have enough time to get rid of all of our trees in a timely fashion.
Another thing that I noticed on this green ash tree, if you look closely here, we have something called lichen growing on this tree. Lichen is a certain enzyme that breaks things down and decomposes them, and eventually it'll turn it into soil. Lichen is a really cool thing, and it comes in many different colors and it grows on a lot of different structures. So I want you to go outside and see if you can find any lichen around your home. It kind of, to me, looks a little bit like a coral reef. I think they're pretty cool to look at.
Move our way through the park here. We've seen a couple deciduous trees, and behind me we have our first conifer tree, the ponderosa pine. And it's got long needles on it, probably about 3 inches in length. And as you can see, they're still green. And they will shed some of the needles in the fall, but they don't lose them all entirely. And another cool thing that the ponderosa pine puts off is a big pine cone. And right now, I don't see any pine cones.
Right here.
It must be, oh, here we go. So you can see how it has a cone shape. And then there is a few bird species that will actually feed on the pine cones. What they do is they got these cross-bill beaks that they can get down in these pine cones and open them up. And you can see they've already taken some of them out, but they go down in there and they can take the seed out for their food. Another species of tree we like to plant in the park that provides good canopy and shade cover is the bur oak, which is native to South Dakota. As you can see here, here's the leaf. The shape of it's got more rounded tips on it than the maple. And another key feature of a bur oak to ID it without its leaves on it is you come up to the bark, you can see how rough looking it is. It's not smooth. It doesn't go down in a linear pattern. It's more rough. And then also, this tree doesn't have it right now, but you get some more big bur oak mature trees. They got acorns all around them on the ground, and that provides a vital food source for your squirrels, rabbits, and a variety of different bird species.
Each of the habitats that we explored today are very different from one another, but they all did offer exactly what all of the critters that live there need: food, water, space, and shelter. This is just a few of the many habitats that we have around our area, so I encourage you to get outside and find some more. Show us some of the unique habitats that you have at your home. For today's challenge, I want you to make up your own creature. Draw or create it with craft supplies and give it a unique name of its own. What does it eat and where does it live? Go outside and find your imaginary creature's habitat. Take a picture with your critter near the habitat and send it back in to us. Once you've sent it, you're entered into the prize that we'll be drawing on Saturday. Thanks for joining us on our first virtual field trip.
Thanks everybody. Have a good day.
See you tomorrow. Of whatever month we're in, spring, at Pelican Lake.
Lake Cochran.
Goodness gracious, at Lake Cochran.